That's a very good question, because that's actually, I think that's the essence of what Dying Light the Beast is. We say it very openly that for us, this is the culmination of the 10 years of our adventure on the series. Like, we say 10 years because it's a nice number, but actually if you look at the number of years we have been working on Dying Light series, it's about 14 years now, because of course we started before the release of the first game. Why we decided to approach Dying Light the Beast that way? Why we decided to basically look at everything that we have done so far and do like the best of everything? Because, to your point, we took some risks, we took some steps that took us away from the Dying Light formula with Dying Light to Stay Human. We love this game, we learned a lot on this game, it was a very successful game, but what we realized is that we wanted to change too much at the same time, too early, and not really being prepared for that. And we realized very quickly, unfortunately after launch, why that those weren't the best steps, because our community, the players, told us that. If you look at Dying Light 1 and Steam sentiment, it's good to say that because it's a very simple number that tells how players look at your game. You will see that Dying Light 1 is above 90%. You look at Dying Light 2 is 79. With Dying Light 2 we realized that not every decision was the best decision, that maybe we shouldn't be trying to do so much experimentation. So then we worked on Dying Light the Beast. We just tried to take every lesson of the good one, the things that players like, but also the not so good one, the bad ones, where players were telling us, this doesn't work, we don't want that Dying Light series. And this is how we formed our design process for Dying Light the Beast. And I think this is also something that's very important to us as a studio, to approach this community-driven design process. You could say, hey, but this is your game, like why don't you follow your heart, you just listen to the players? But for us, actually, we don't think it's our game. When it's released, we share the game with millions of players, and they have the same stake in the game as we do. So that's why we try to listen to our community as much as possible. I think we have also realized and understood that the night is the most important thing of Dying Light. If you remove the night part and how it changes the rules of the game, you just have just another zombie game, because then it's not that much different from any other zombie game. But if you add the night experience that we have, which again changes how you play the game, and it's the most scary, the most tense, the most exciting part of the experience, this is what makes Dying Light Dying Light. We looked at the first game and we were looking at player data, and we realized that more than half of the players are skipping the night part because they were saying it's too scary, I just cannot play. So for Dying Light 2, we wanted to make it maybe not easier, but more accessible. And we have changed the rules of the night. It wasn't exactly the same as in the first game. And what we realized is our players keep telling us, hey, but this is not the night that we wanted. This is not as scary. This is not as tense as the one that we remember. We don't want this easy night. We want the hard night. And we discovered that even if players don't play the hard night, they want to know it's there. They want to have the feeling that, okay, maybe one day I will be brave enough and strong enough and will develop my character to face the night. So that's why we decided to make the night again super scary, super dark, super challenging in Dying Light the Beast. So when it comes to designing Castorwoods, the map from the new game, we actually wanted to do something else. We wanted to challenge ourselves. And yes, as the question says, this is an open space with lots of nature, so not really a place where you can do parkour, right? So not something naturally where you can jump from obstacle to obstacle, rooftop to rooftop, and this is what you think about parkour. And I think there were three key elements about it. The first thing was that we discovered that actually it's okay to not have parkour everywhere. Why? Because parkour in Dying Light is like your escape card. You're being chased, you see zombies around you, you just do parkour to go to the top of the building and you're safe. But then when you remove that ability from players and leave them in the middle of the forest at night, suddenly they feel more scared. The survival aspect of the game is stronger, because then you feel weaker, more vulnerable. You don't have the escape card that would allow you to get away from the zombies. So that's the thing number one. The second design trick is that we decided to not have places where you just enter through the front door on the ground level. Even if you have just one building somewhere, like in the middle of the forest. Usually this is not something where you do parkour, but there was a design decision where we say the front door on the ground floor, they are always closed. If you want to get in, you just have to do some climbing. You have to go to the rooftop, you have to jump on a chest, then on another chest, then go somewhere, jump over the fence, be able to get into the place. So we were looking even for those mini parkour moments everywhere on the map. That's the second trick. And the third design trick was, but of course we also want to have the best parkour in gaming that we know how to produce. So we also said to ourselves, so we need to have a part of the map which allows for that. So that's why in the middle of the map there is this big town, touristic town, which needs plenty of space for parkour. And we spent a lot of time polishing the running there, making sure that every jump connects as it should. And because what we set to ourselves, like a goal that we have set for ourselves, so let's make this town a real parkour paradise. Something that where you run, you don't even think about what you do. You basically just jump here, grab this ledge, jump over this rooftop. We wanted to make sure that all of the distances, every path allows players to have that really great parkour that Dying Light is known for. So even if the whole map doesn't support it, we just made sure that there's at least a big part of the map, one part of the map where it works the best. I think the biggest challenge of making Dying Light the Beast was making sure that we don't make any mistakes when it comes to the legacy, the history of the series. Especially because we decided to bring back the character of the first game. And the character of the first game, Kyle Crane, is just the most precious element, the most precious part that we have. If you look at the announcement trailer for Dying Light the Beast, and you look at the comment on YouTube, basically every single comment is Kyle Crane returns, everything in capitals, lots of exclamation marks. I said the night is the most important part of Dying Light, but maybe for players actually it's Kyle Crane, this character. We have managed to create a character that's very special to a big number of players. They have lots of memories about him. And we were afraid that, and it was I think for me it was a real threat, a real danger. If we do something wrong with how we bring back Kyle Crane, then I think Dying Light the Beast would not be the success that it is. So we actually spent most of the production was trying to make sure, kind of fine tune and find all of the little details that Kyle Crane should have. And actually before coming here, I had a presentation at the Thailand Game Show and Gamescom Asia about our process of creating Kyle Crane, and I was going through all of the details, because really there's a lot of things that make Kyle Crane, but we started with inviting the members of our community to our studio and having workshops with them, workshops for which we're trying to understand what's most important about the character for them, what do they expect from the return of the character. All of the other stuff, it was just design, production challenges, something that every studio goes through. But bringing back Kyle Crane was like an emotional challenge, almost like a personal challenge, because we knew that we are offering our players the return of the character that they loved 10 years ago. But you know how it is, like our memories always have like some version of the story which is not always true. So we wanted, so that was the hardest. Do we make it right? And even before the game was released, like even the minute before the game went live and we started hearing first voices from the players, we were like sitting in our studio, keeping our fingers crossed that we did this right. But thankfully we did. When we hear, hey, I want fast travel because actually traveling is stressful, then for us, in our ears, it means that's good. We will never give you fast travel. And I think this is the moment where, players are saying, hey, we want this. But sometimes when you give them this, they realize that they actually lose something else and that the experience is not the same. So right now there is no plans to introduce fast travel because we believe very strongly in the fact that Dying Light is the best when you just try to get from point A to point B. This is where the adventure happens. This is where you encounter zombies. This is where you can come up with your own ways to go to that place without dying, surviving. So there are no plans like that. If the community keeps pushing and pushing and pushing, yes, maybe we'll consider. But our strong design belief is that having a fast travel would take away from what the game is about, what's the best about the game.
There was one moment which was very pivotal, I would say, for the production, but it's something completely different. It was the moment when we first heard the voice lines of Roger Smith, the voice of Kyle Crane, in the game. I remember sitting in the studio and I have an open space, so I see a lot of developers in front of me. And we uploaded the dialogues, the vocal lines from him over the night. So in the morning they came back to work. They started the game as they usually do to kind of do their stuff, test their own parts of the game, and they heard Kyle Crane's voice, and I was seeing people's faces turning, being so emotional, being excited about kind of returning to this character. So like one special moment was this one. And I'm happy that we have that, because without his voice we could not be able to have Dying Light the Beast as it is.